Hey guys, it's Melissa with Sunday Chats with Melissa, and welcome to my IGTV video channel and also the series on grounding. So I wanted to briefly tell you, if you were unfamiliar, exactly what goes into a yoga teacher training, so that the next time you attend a class or you meet someone who says they're a yoga instructor, be very clear that they just didn't go and learn how to do a downward dog and the tree pose, and then they went on about their business. It's a 200-hour intensive training. They do vary from studio to studio. And I know this because some other people that I spoke with that went to other studios, theirs was much less arduous. And so I would advise you, if you do want to go, make sure you check out your programs. The yoga teacher programs are not mandated by any association. The Yoga Alliance, you can register with the Yoga Alliance, and basically what a studio does is they provide their 200 and 300 hour curriculums to the Yoga Alliance. The Yoga Alliance says, okay. And then when they're done, the participants go through the Yoga Alliance and registered. So if you see someone who has RYT after their name, they're a registered yoga teacher. That just means that they paid the Yoga Alliance about $100 and some, and they do some CEUs during the year. There is some guidance that the Yoga Alliance provides, but it is not a mandated, they do not mandate anything from different schools. So should you be interested in going to a yoga teacher training, please do your homework about what schools you're going to attend, find out what their requirements are ahead of time, and if that's something that you can actually do. The training is not inexpensive. It costs $3,000. It's a 6-month, very intensive training. And I'm just going to briefly run down what was required of those of us. There were 9 people in our tribe. That's what it's called, the yoga tribe. We had to have perfect attendance, and perfect attendance meant that for 6 months, we spent an entire weekend at the studio, practicing, learning, listening to lectures, and doing classes and learning poses and learning Sanskrit. We had, in addition to all of that, we also had a Wednesday class once a month that we had to attend. We had to attend on our own time 24 flow classes that were led by the 2 owners of the studio, who also happened to be the instructors. And 10 of them had to be with them. 8 hours of restorative yoga, which is something that we'll talk about later, but is it's a great yoga. 4 documented hours of observing classes at the studio, 2 documented hours of assisting classes. And assisting means assisting students in their poses so that they get the most benefit from it. It's not correcting, it's not making them right, it's allowing them to get the best benefit from their pose. 5 hours of teaching practice. So we had to teach at the studio. We had an assignment every month. We had to read 6 books and write papers on them. And then we also had to volunteer our time. We had to do 10 or 15 hours of community service. That's not written on here, but we had to do community service as well. And so the 3 that I did it with, we volunteered at the Ronald McDonald House here, across from a big hospital, and we cooked meals for them, and it was really, really nice. And a lot of people do that. And so if you're ever looking for a place to volunteer, it's a great place to volunteer your time. Basically, the Ronald McDonald House provides housing and food when people's children are sick and they're in the hospital for extended periods of time. So it's a beautiful home, and it's a beautiful ministry that they have there. So there was so much that we learned. Of course, we learned about breathing, which is what yoga is all about, is breathing. We learned about that. We learned the different techniques. We learned the different types of yoga. We had to learn how to write a class, how to set up a class, how the class structure is to go. So there's so much that goes into yoga training. I just wanted you to appreciate, if you attend a yoga class or you see yoga teachers online, I just want you to appreciate all that they've been through. In addition, we had to learn every pose and every term, a yogic term, in English and in Sanskrit, and we had to spell both correctly in order for us to pass our exam. And if you're not familiar with Sanskrit, just do a little Google search on that. We also had to pass our test with a 90. So it wasn't like, C's get degrees, not in yoga. You had to have a 90. So anyway, I learned so much and loved my tribe that I was with. We were so close and had so much fun and studied together and knitted together. We just had the best time. And not everyone got certified. It wasn't easy. And these were smart people. It wasn't easy. These were educated people. So it was tough. But one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, and I thought was very timely, and it was one of my favorite parts of the training, was the training about chakras. And chakra means wheel, and they are our energy wheels, and we have 7 of them, and they start from the crown of your head and go to the root of your spine. They are the crown, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plex, the sacral, which is around your belly button, and then your root, which is at the bottom of your spine. And they all serve a purpose. The Sushumna Nadi is the energy that goes up and down through the chakras. And then there's the Inga and Pingala that go back and forth. So if you're not familiar with energy, if you've ever met someone and you thought, oh, their energy is just really off, or you've walked into a room and you were like, oh, the energy here is uncomfortable, like there's an elephant in the room or something, that's energy. And the chakra that I want to start with is one that I have felt that has always, I don't want to say always, that I feel like I need to get back into focus the most. And that is my root chakra. And when your root chakra is out of balance, you have anxiety, you feel anxious, you feel nervous, you feel insecure. It could be about anything, especially during this pandemic. Financial worries are a concern for many of us. And how our jobs and how we'll go back out into the world and what will that look like, and the relationships that have been damaged by this isolation and by this time of stress, and how will we go back into the world and kind of find our new groove. So for me, my root chakra is often out of balance, and balancing that is something that you can do as many times as you need. And one very simple way that you can ground your root chakra is just to merely get on the ground. Yesterday, it was chilly here, but I was determined I was going to go outside and find some sunshine. And I actually went out and put a blanket on the ground, and I laid down on that blanket and grounded myself, my entire body. I put every chakra right on the ground and grounded myself. And it was so relaxing, and it was so freeing for me to just be able to get back down to where everything is common ground, the ground, and just lay there and get myself together. And I did that for a long time. And, but if you don't have the opportunity to get outside, or, your allergies are really bad. Hey, I did it with my allergies, and I live to tell about it. But if that's not something you can do, something very simple that you can do to ground, your root chakra is to merely stand up. So I'm just going to move this, and I want you to look, sorry, my ring light is doing its own thing. I want you to look at my feet. first. The most important part of this grounding is to make sure that your feet are flat on the ground, that your toes are spread. Pull up that big toe and place all of them down, spread apart. And then I want you to lean forward just slightly, just so that you can feel level, so that your toes and your feet are supporting you. And just hang there. Just hang there and breathe. Let your shoulders roll down your back. Put this up a little tiny bit. Let your shoulders roll down your back. Close your eyes. Let your arms dangle by your side and just lean in. Lean in. There's a breathing technique that we use in yoga classes, and it's great to use during your poses. You breathe in through your nostril, and when you breathe out, it almost sounds like you're breathing on a mirror, but it's internal. It's in the back of your throat, so it sounds something like this. Breathe that breath down into your chest, down into your body, and just ground. And once you've done that, then you merely can come right back down to your mat or to the grass or the floor or wherever you are that you can sit. Sit crisscross applesauce like I'm doing here. I need a producer. Sit crisscross applesauce. If you need to put a towel under your rear end, you can most certainly do that. If you have props or you need to roll some towels up, you can put them under your knees to relieve some stress on your knees. As we age, we can't always do the things that we used to do. And if sitting crisscross applesauce is not something that you can do anymore, these are some things that will alleviate the stress on your legs, on your knees, and also on your body. So, you're going to want to sit, you're going to want to ground, put your hands on your knees. You can put them up if that feels comfortable to you. Roll your shoulders down, close your eyes, and breathe. And if for whatever reason you can't breathe with your mouth shut due to allergies or congestion or, some other reason, that you just breathe with your mouth open. You just want to bring in that cleansing breath and just release it. Just release it. Our root chakra is so important. When we feel unsafe and insecure and scared and anxious, it affects everything. And the chakras have everything to do with the law of attraction. So if we can ground ourselves, and if we can get our chakras in line, when we're not scared, when we're not insecure, when we're not afraid, everything else looks better. So set your intent. Set your intent for how your day goes. You get to choose that. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you get to control how you react. So set your intent. Do this in the morning. Do it when you need to regroup. Do it when you've had a confrontation or something has happened in your day that has set you off. Do this. Set your intention. Ground yourself. And put out into the world how you want to be, how you want to be treated, and how you like to treat others. Let everyone see the goodness of the Lord through you as you treat them how you want to be treated. What we put out into the world is what we get back. So if you're kind and loving and generous and considerate, you'll get that back. You're not necessarily going to get it back from everyone, but you'll get it back from the people who had the same energy as you, who are ready to give that back to you. All right. Well, I certainly hope you enjoyed this very short, brief introduction about chakras and our root chakra. Until we see each other again, until we chat again, namaste.